Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday Morning Experience. I'm Dr. Zeb, and it's so good to be here with you today, and so grateful that you've tuned in on this awesome Sunday morning. It's going to be a beautiful day here in North Carolina, and so glad that you are joining in with us. Incredible message today. Stay on the boat is what I'm teaching, and I'm on, I know, a few minutes early, I believe, but so much I've got to get through, and I've got a tight time crunch this morning, but I'm going to make it happen. And this is a powerful message. Acts chapter 27 is where we're going to be today. And I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to share with us. If you are on, I want you to go ahead and like the video, share the video now, let as many people know as possible that we're live and on the air. And again, an incredible message that I'm excited to teach with you on this last Sunday in October. We'll be in November in just a couple of days. This year is almost done. And it is certainly my hope that things are going well for you. And everything connected to you. That is absolutely my prayer. And I'm just, again, grateful that you tuned in to share. There we go. That screen was a little dark. I'm so grateful that you tuned in to share with us on today. So start liking the video, sharing the video. I'm going to go ahead and start getting the declaration in order. Again, I ain't wasting no time today. I really want to share this powerful message with you that I know is going to be a blessing to you. And again, just so grateful that you have taken the moment to share with us on today and to be here with us. And so again, I want you to start liking the video, sharing the video. We're going to get ready to walk through the declaration. I'm on all channels this morning. And for some reason, I'm looking at Instagram. I don't see Instagram has changed its, looks like it's changed its screen or whatever. I can't see where to put up the declaration. So Instagram has made some changes. And nevertheless, we're glad to be here with you today. Again, start liking the video, sharing the video. We're going to walk through the declaration because, again, I want to get right into this message. I'm going to be teaching from the subject, Stay on the Boat. And it's a powerful message that I want to share with you that I think is going to be a blessing to you the way it was a help to me. We're going to be coming out of Acts chapter 27. And so go ahead and get that while we get ready to walk through the declaration. So many people ask, Doc, what does REHAB stand for? It is an acronym that stands for Restore, Evangelize, Hope, Alternatives, Breakthrough. It's the 5 pillars by which we attempt to operate ministry, even in this virtual space. And so it is my hope that as you repeat this declaration, that you are starting your week off in a tremendous way by speaking these words over your life, right? We've got to remember that there is great power in the words that we say. And so I'm excited to share this declaration with you. And again, it is my hope that you will repeat this declaration, say this with me, and you're certainly going to see some tremendous things happen for you on this week, right? You say the right things, you can expect to see the right things. You say the wrong things, and you can expect to see the wrong things in your life as well. And so I'm so excited again today about just this message and what we're going to share today. Stay on the boat. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be tremendous. And again, just grateful that you have tuned in with us. So let's get the declaration up on the screen. Let's get it going. And let's walk through this again. And it doesn't matter. Maybe you're still laying down. Maybe you're just getting up and starting to get into your morning. But I want you to walk through this declaration with me and say this with me, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing. And let's get this party started right. All right, say it with me. You should see it on your screen. Restore. We declare that everything that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me. And right now, His love is making me whole. Evangelize. Repeat this with me. We declare that God helped us so we can help someone else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I'm free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope, say this with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win. And my virtual row has the victory. My past is defeated. And my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternatives. Repeat after me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say these words with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. My friends, if you made that declaration with me, I need you to type in the comments in all capital letters really quickly. A win is a win. Would you do that? A win is a win. We are wrapping up the 10th month of this year. Every single Sunday in 2023, we have been making that declaration. A win is a win. And man, let me tell you something. I don't know about you. I'm talking about my life. It's all I can talk about. Man, I've been winning. There's a lot of winning going on right now. And I'm grateful to God because even when things look thin, he was still pouring it on thick. You've got to believe that progress is a sign that you're heading in the right direction. A win is a win. Come on, y'all, type it in all capital letters. I want you to fill it up with hearts this morning. Start liking and sharing the video. Tell everybody to wake up, to jump on. We've got an incredible message to share with you today. But I want you to be encouraged to know that a win is a win. You are not losing in this season of your life. God's going to make some things work for you. And I'm excited about that. I really am. Listen, your scripture for the week, Romans chapter 12, again, it is on repeat. I have never, ever given one scripture for the week 3 weeks in a row. But if you have been tuning in on Thursday mornings, I'm telling you, Thursday mornings have been better than life study. Like, I'm not kidding you. Thursday mornings, those 10, 15 minutes, 6:45 in the morning have been powerful. And we have been dealing with Romans chapter 12. And it's really where I've been led to be. I'm going to stay here this week. We may do one more week, but definitely this week. So I want you to continue to incorporate Romans chapter 12 into your weekly reading. And we know you're going to be blessed because of it. But continue to read that and consume that. And then make plans to join us Thursday, 6:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively on Instagram. If I can get Instagram to work, they changed their interface. I don't know what's going on with Instagram this morning. But we will be there 6:45 a.m. On Instagram Thursday for Explanation Thursday, Romans chapter 12. Read it again. Continue to meditate on that particular chapter of Romans, and we know you're going to be blessed. There's no Life Study Tuesday. No Life Study Tuesday. I recognize many of you are going to be going to trunk or treats and doing different things like that. And so please enjoy your family Tuesday. Be very careful. I understand that, especially if you're on the East Coast, there's supposed to be a cold front that's coming. And so be very careful. The weather may be bad, but certainly be careful with your children, loved ones, whatever you're doing on Tuesday, trunk or treats, or whatever events that you're going to. And we will see you next Tuesday back for life study. All right, let's get into this. Acts chapter 27. I am teaching from this subject, stay on the boat. Come on, y'all. We got to roll this morning. Stay on the boat. I'm going to try to get this all out today. If I don't, there will be no more than a part 2. And I'm going to try my best to get through Acts chapter 27 today. Stay on the boat is what we're teaching. And I'm in Acts chapter number 27. I'm in the New Living Translation. Let me record that in my notes here because I forgot to put that there, and I like to reference it. I'm in the New Living Translation. You get whatever translation that works for you. But I'm teaching from Acts chapter 27, New Living Translation. The subject is stay on the boat. And I want you to put that in the comments today. Get ready to take notes. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long because this is a word today. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to be here today. And I hope you all can tell. Doc just can't stop smiling. I'm excited. Look at this. I want to do some reading. Now, I rarely read the context of a message that I teach. I always teach context because context is important to fully understand content. If you don't understand the context of anything, you're not going to appropriately understand the content of the thing. So context is always important. I never ignore context, but I rarely read context. But I'm going to read this story because it sets the stage for some things that we've got to walk through today in Acts chapter 27. So I'm going to read through Acts chapter 27, the beginning that is, and then we may jump around, as we get into this. But this is one of those lessons where you just, there's certain lessons in the Bible that you just have to read them verse by verse. And even if you teach them, you need to kind of go through them verse by verse. And this is one of those particular chapters, right? So Acts chapter 27, I have the New Living Translation. You get what version works for you, right? Because there's parts of the King James that I really like for this on today. Look at this. Verse number 1, when the time came, we set sail for Italy. Paul and several other prisoners were placed in the custody of a Roman officer named Julius, a captain of the imperial regiment. Okay. And so this is Paul writing here. And, I can't say this is Paul writing. The writer says that they were setting sail for Italy, and Paul and several other prisoners. This is important. Paul is in this story on a boat that's setting sail for Rome, or setting sail, for Italy. Yeah, Rome, Italy. And they're in the custody of Roman guards. This is important, right? We've got to set this context here. All right, so Paul is a prisoner with other prisoners on a boat setting sail for Rome, Italy, under the care of Roman guards. All right, this is important. All right, y'all just allow me to teach today. I got to hurry up. Look at verse 2. Aristarchus, a Macedonian from Thessalonica, was also with us. We left on a ship whose home port was Adramyttium on the northwest coast of the province of Asia. It was scheduled to make several stops at ports along the coast of the province. I'm in Acts 27, verse 2. Look at verse 3. The next day, when we docked at Sidon, Julius, again, the captain of the Roman imperial regiment. In other words, he was the head officer. Julius was very kind to Paul and let him go ashore to visit with friends so they could provide for his needs. So the captain of the guards was nice enough to Paul to let him go visit with friends, right? He's supposed to be a prisoner on this boat. He says, listen, I know who you are. They know who Paul is. They know what Paul is about. Paul also has Roman citizenship, and I don't have time to deal with this, but there were certain things that Paul had access to, could be excused from as a Roman citizen. So Paul is given a different kind of leadway than the other prisoners because of his citizenship, right? Which is why we can't be ignorant. Y'all, this ain't even in my notes, but it's important to mention. You can't be ignorant of how sometimes where we come from can give us privilege. It is a very real reality that your background and where you come from, for right or wrong, can create privilege in your life. right? And so we can't be ignorant to that. All right, now look at this. Verse number 3, Acts 27, verse 3. The next day, when we were docked at Sidon, Julius was very kind to Paul. I said that. Verse 4, I'm sorry. Putting out to sea from there, we encountered strong headwinds. Watch. That made it difficult to keep the ship on course. So we sailed north of Cyprus, between the island and the mainland. Look at verse 5. Keeping to the open sea, we passed along the coast of Cilicia and Pamphylia, landing at Myra in the province of Lycia. Talking about words and spelling bee here. Look at verse number 6. There the commanding officer found an Egyptian ship from Alexandria that was bound for Italy, and he put us aboard. Right? So now the writing goes back to someone that is writing from the perspective, someone that is writing from the perspective of being on this boat. When you read Acts chapter 27, it is believed to not have been written by Paul because the writer refers to Paul, but it's also believed that the writer is a passenger on the ship. This is important, y'all. Man, I really want to break this down like crazy today, okay? I need y'all to just stay with me, all right? Stay with me. All right, look at this. Verse number 7. We had several days of slow sailing. This is where it gets interesting. And after great difficulty, we finally neared Cnidus. But the wind was against us. So we sailed across the Crete and along the sheltered coast of the island, past the Cape of Salmon. We struggled along the coast with great difficulty and finally arrived at fair havens near the town of Lasea. Verse 9. We had lost a lot of time. The weather was becoming dangerous for sea travel because it was so late in the fall. And Paul spoke to the ship's officers about it. This is important. This is the first thing that I need you to record right now. Okay? This is the first thing I need you to record right now. One of the most dangerous things you can do regarding progress in your life is ignore the signs. One of the most dangerous things you can do, oh gosh, regarding progress in your life is ignore the signs. Now I'm going to explain this because some of you are going to jump all over this and say, I knew it. When I see signs, this means this means this means this means this, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to submit to you that life will present to you signs of danger if we are mindful enough to be aware of them. God will present to us signs of danger if we are mindful enough to be aware of them. Now, I want to be clear about this because every sign is not always accurate. Now, I don't want to confuse you today. Every sign isn't always accurate. And what I mean by that is signs can appear to you regarding a thing, a situation, circumstance, whatever, your life. Signs can appear to you, but just because a sign appears doesn't mean you're going to receive the manifestation of the sign of the thing that appeared to you. Now, you may be saying, well, Doc, aren't you contradicting yourself? Because you just said that one of the most dangerous things we can do regarding life's progress is ignore the signs. I'm not contradicting myself. Let me give you the best example I can give you. As y'all know, I am the analogy king. One of the best signs I can give to you is this. Have you ever gone and traveled, let's say, to a restaurant? Let's say you're out of town. Let's say you're out of town and you're in a different city and somebody makes a restaurant recommendation to you. And they say, hey, when you go to this place, I want you to go try this restaurant. It's really good, right? This is a person who's been to that restaurant. They've been there, whatever. And I want you to try this restaurant. Here's the address. Here's the name of it, whatever. So, you do what most of us do. You go on your phone. You punch in the name of the restaurant or maybe the address. You put it in and it gives you directions. And if you're driving or whatever, or you're in the Uber or whatever, You head towards that restaurant. Now, because this has happened to me before. So I've been given, and I'm using this as a personal example. I've been given a restaurant recommendation before where I'm traveling somewhere and I have friends who live there or have been there. Hey, where should I go eat? And so I'd be like, Doc, try this. So I'll punch it in the GPS if I'm driving, or I'll tell the Uber person. And I'll put it in the address for Uber and they'll come get me. And the Uber people a lot of times won't sometimes necessarily know what I'm getting at. But you end up in the car, right? And you can be watching the highway as you're going and looking at the signs, right? And this has happened to me before. It's a true story where I've seen a billboard of the place, right? A billboard of the place still up. Such and such restaurant, such and such plaza. Malls are good for this. I have people recommending malls and shopping places and stores, specific stores I'm looking for. Such and such, 3 miles ahead, right? The billboard is the what, y'all? The sign. I want y'all to stay with me. The billboard is the sign that the restaurant's ahead. Okay? Now, I've had this happen. Such and such place, 3 miles ahead. So you're sitting in the car, you're riding, and then the driver gets there, and the building is there, but the restaurant's gone. The building's there, but the restaurant's gone. Doc, what happened to the restaurant? Well, they changed locations. Or maybe they closed down. Why are you giving us this address or giving us this analogy or this example, Doc, when Paul and them had signs that dangers was ahead and the signs were true? Because Jesus also warns us to be careful of following signs. I want to give you a side of this that I think is so critically important that I never really scratched until I was reading this and studying this. Jesus warns us to be careful not to pursue life or live life based on signs. In fact, he says specifically that signs, watch, are for the unbeliever. He says signs aren't for the believer. Signs are for the unbeliever, which is why in your life, you've got to be careful. While you shouldn't ignore the signs, you've got to be careful living by signs. The just don't live by signs. Oh, gosh. Y'all, I just feel like teaching today. Did y'all hear what I said? The just doesn't live by signs. Because the same way I gave you that example of where I've tried to go find a restaurant, that the billboards were still up saying that restaurant was there, and I got there, that restaurant was not there. That could have been a disappointing experience to me. Signs don't always mean things are what they appear to be. And Jesus warns us of signs for this very reason. He says, the unsaved, this generation desires a sign. Like y'all know you live this way. Some of you even put this into your prayers, right? Good to see you, Shell. It's been a long time. Good to see you. Some of you even put this in your prayers. God, if you want me to do this, show me a sign. Right? If God, you want me to move. Oh, this is a good one. Oh boy. How many people have I talked to, counsel, coach, that have said, well, Doc, I prayed and asked God to give me a sign on whether or not I should leave, I should move, or I should stay where I am. And I asked for a sign. Many of you incorporate that into your prayers. Well, God, if I should move, then show me a sign. And so what do? Instead of you living your life and having faith in God, you live your life looking for God to drop out of the sky a sign to give you confirmation of what you can do. And let me tell you why this is even more important. Let me tell you why this is more important, even more important. The reason why this is even more important is because if the truth be told, many of you look for signs to justify what you want to do anyway. I don't hear nobody saying amen. I don't see no hearts going up, nothing. I'm telling the truth. Many of you look for signs to justify what you want to do. So it ain't even about whether or not God's showing you a sign. Let's just be honest here. How many of you have asked God for a sign just so you could just get the extra nudge to move anyway? See, Shell, the only one talking to me. Ain't nobody talking on Facebook, YouTube. Shell from Instagram, the only one talking to me this morning. And I know I'm telling the truth. Why? Because I've been guilty. I have been guilty of asking God to send me a sign. God, send me a sign that this is what you want me to do, right? I even word it like that, right? Send me a sign that moving, let's use moving. Send me a sign that moving is what you want me to do. Knowing full well in the back of my mind, what I really want to say is, God, send me a sign that I should move because that's what I want to do. Is this making sense to anybody? And if we're honest, many of us lead our prayer lives this way. We lead our prayer lives seeking God for a sign. Again, the just doesn't live by signs. The Bible says that the just lives by faith. The just lives by faith. Not by a sign, but by faith. And this is so critically important because if we look at Acts chapter 27, it looks like this is going to be 2 parts. Yeah, I tried. I really tried. I even started early this morning. If we look at Acts chapter 27 and we look at verse number 9, it says clearly that the weather was becoming dangerous for sea travel because it was late in the fall. And Paul speaks up about this. Look at what he says in verse number 10. I'm in Acts chapter 27, verse 10, New Living Translation. Paul says, hey, men, I believe there's trouble on the other side if we go on. Shipwreck, loss of cargo, and danger to our lives as well. Look at verse 11. But the officer in charge of the prisoners listened more to the ship's captain and the owner than to Paul. This is important. The just lives by faith, not signs. But what Paul is going to prove here is that even if you ignore the signs, God is still enough God to pull you through the bad situation. Now, oh, this is good. The captain, the driver of the boat, ignored Paul's warning, ignored the signs of the high tides. They're sailing in fall season. So the captain of the boat intentionally ignored the signs. Okay? The captain intentionally, y'all know I'm a student. I'm sitting up here recording another note here because I just got a crazy revelation. This is crazy. The captain of the boat intentionally ignored the signs. But y'all, I need you to get this. Many of us have ignored signs that weren't so obvious. Many of us have ignored signs that weren't so obvious to us. And I believe this, that the best way to see a sign, watch this, I want you to record this now. The best way to recognize a sign is to take a step back. Man, this is a word today. The best way to recognize a sign in your life, if you want to know if God is sending you signs, trying to speak to you. The best way to recognize a sign is to take a step back. Y'all know what I believe here in Acts 27? I believe that the captain and the officers of that boat that were over Paul and the other prisoners, I don't believe they ignored Paul because they couldn't see the signs. Right? It's clear that the same way Paul and the prisoners could see that there was a storm coming, surely captains who are experienced sailors should know what a storm looks like at sea. Right? Talk to anybody who has a boat, who has been. I've never been on a cruise ship. I'm afraid of the movie Titanic. I've never been on a cruise boat. Now I'll fly on a plane all day, but I ain't never been on a boat. I don't know if I ever want to go on one. Not on no cruise boat. Now I'll go on a private boat, a yacht, but I'm not going on no. I don't know about no big boat. Anyway, I believe that a sailor, a captain who has driven a boat, can see the signs of a storm out on sea. I believe that wholeheartedly. So I don't think that the captains ignored the signs because they didn't see them. I believe that the captains ignored the signs for real, watch, because they subconsciously weren't paying attention. Y'all, watch this. The greatest sign you're going to ignore in your life, the greatest sign we will ignore in our lives is the sign we don't pay attention to. I need you to record that now. The greatest sign you're going to ignore in your life is the one you don't pay attention to. The greatest sign you're going to ignore in your life is the one you don't pay attention to. These guys are experienced sailors. They are experienced captains. I'm coming to that, Shell. You're in my notes. You're in my notes. Oh, you're in my notes. Big time. Oh, these guys were experienced sailors, but they refused to pay attention to what was obvious. And listen, y'all, sometimes, hear me, there are certain signs in your life that aren't obvious because you're too close to them. There are certain things that are not obvious that should be obvious, but they're not because you're too close to them, which is why it's important that we know that taking a step back creates distance, and distance creates clarity. You won't know the relationship is bad sometimes until you take a step back and evaluate it. Because if you try to evaluate something that you're in, your frame of reference or perspective is going to be skewed because you're too close. Because you're too close. So when we take a step back, taking a step back creates clarity. I give this to my clients all the time in the work that I do, right? Can you see your hand like this? No, you can't. Put your hand on your face, you can't see that. Pull it back, you can. You start to see it clear. The further back the hand goes, the more clear it is. And many of you are trying to evaluate relationships like this. You're trying to evaluate whether or not you should relocate like this. Some of you are trying to evaluate what the next job move or career decision should be like this. And you gotta take a step back. You gotta take a step back from the thing so you can see it clearly. That's called clarity, folks. That's called clarity. Some of us are missing it because we're too close. I believe it wasn't that the captains couldn't see that there was problems ahead. But I believe the captains, one of the reasons, Shell hit on the other one we're about to get into, one of the reasons why they couldn't see it is because they were just simply too close. And some of you can't see the obvious because you're too close to it. You can't see the obvious issues and challenges that many of us see because you're too close. This is why, I mentioned it, I think I mentioned it Tuesday. Went to go see my good friend and big brother, Bishop Gabi. It's like a mentor to me. And, just an amazing conversation with him that was long overdue that I really needed. He said some things that were on time that were really confirmation of signs that were obvious to everybody but me. It's just like, it was obvious to everybody but me. And this is powerful. Sometimes we're too close to stuff. We just can't see it because we're too close to it. And you just need to take a step back and get a neutral evaluation of your situation. Watch. So you can see it, not for what you want it to be, but so that you can see it for what it is. So that you can see it for what it is. This is so important, y'all. I need you to start bracing and positioning yourself to start seeing things for what they are. The only way we can do that sometimes is take a step back from the boat and evaluate the boat and the ocean and everything else that comes with it for what it is. So that's big. Here's the other thing. Shell mentioned this. It's right here in my notes. It's so important. I believe the other reason the captains could not see, Acts, by the way, y'all, Acts chapter 27, I'm at verse number 10, right? Because Paul tells them, he says, listen, there's trouble ahead if we keep on going. Acts 27, verse 10, New Living Translation, he says specifically, I believe there's trouble ahead if we go on shipwreck. We're going to lose cargo. Our lives are going to be in danger. But verse 11, but the officer in charge of the prisoners listened more to the ship's captain and the owner than to Paul. The other reason, y'all, why I believe many people are struggling with navigating life is because you evaluate advice based solely on who it comes from. I'm going to get in trouble right here. Many people evaluate advice solely on who it comes from. Now, let me give a very clear caveat here. I want to be very clear about what I'm saying here because I do not want you to misunderstand me. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not going to the dentist if I'm having chest pains. Okay? I want to be very clear here. I'm not going to the dentist if I'm having chest pains. If I'm having chest pains, I'm going to a medical doctor. Right? So hear what I'm saying. There are some things that require specialty. Okay? So I don't want you to take this and run with this. No, I don't believe you should listen to everybody. I don't. No, I don't believe you should listen to everybody. And I don't believe all advice is good. I need y'all to hear me. I don't believe you should listen to everybody. I don't believe all advice is good. Watch this. But I do believe this. Some people put advice from certain people or perspectives from certain people on a higher pedestal, and it has nothing to do with expertise. And it has everything to do with superficiality. It's superficial reasons. Paul is a Roman citizen. Paul is a very astute, learned man. He's written most of the books in the Bible. Paul ain't no dummy. But here's the problem. Of all the titles Paul had, Paul still had one title that they didn't like. He was still a prisoner. Y'all, this is a revelation here. Isn't it weird how people, you can be accomplished, you could check so many boxes, but if people don't like one part of you, they'll try to discount every part of you. Am I talking to anybody besides me? Isn't it odd how people, if they don't like one part of you or don't understand one part of you, they will try to discount all parts of you because of the one part of you they don't like or understand? Paul, intelligent Roman citizen, great writer, he's a persecutor of the church before he's converted. So he obviously has charisma. He's a leader. He's all of this stuff, but he got a problem. He's on this boat as a prisoner. And for some reason, people could not separate Paul's title, prisoner, from who he was as a man. And this is why, y'all, I don't get caught up on titles. Let me help you. I don't get caught up on titles because I recognize this. Watch. That when you have a true calling and a purpose for your life, the purpose will speak before the title. I want y'all to record that in the comments now. This might be the last note I got to give y'all today. The purpose will speak before the title. There's a whole lot of people running to get titles, rushing to get title. Pastor, reverend, bishop, supervisor, entrepreneur, all of you rushing to get these titles. But let me tell you something. The titles that stick are the ones that you are before you get them. The titles that stick are the ones that you are before you get them. And I've discovered that titles that work are the ones that are preceded by real purpose. Instead of chasing titles, chase purpose. These men ignored Paul because they were caught up on his title, prisoner. And they lost sight of the fact in that brief moment that had they listened to Paul and all of the experience and knowledge and wisdom connected to Paul, they wouldn't have missed this moment because of a title. They would not have had to endure what they're getting ready to endure if they would have paid less attention to a title and paid more attention to someone who had purpose. Now, I can't share all of the conversation I had with him, but one of the things we talked about, he was just so complimentary. It's always a breath of fresh air to be around people who can see what you see, and not only see what you see, but help you to know that you're not crazy for seeing what you see. This is going to sound like I'm talking in code. I'm not. I just need you to hear me out. Because Paul, gosh, this is so good. Paul is a prisoner on this ship. And he's telling them, y'all, we're getting ready to get in trouble. Like, trouble's ahead. And they were not listening to Paul. And I've got to imagine that when you know what you know and you see what you see, and people don't receive it, if you're not careful, it can deflate you. In other words, you can question your purpose if you pay more attention to people's response. That's the last one for today. I'm going to stop you. Will y'all record that? You will question your purpose if you pay more attention to people's response. Some people do what they do for an applause. Some people do what they do to be recognized. Some people do what they do to be patted on the back. Then others of us do what we do because it's what we call to do. And I've discovered this. When you chase after purpose, you don't even really care about applause. When you chase after purpose, it don't matter who ain't clapping. You clap for yourself. You motivate yourself. You drive yourself. When it's more about purpose. But if it's not about purpose, if it's about people responding to you, how people respond to you, how people listen to you, how people react to you, if you're not careful, you will let their response mess up your purpose. Watch this. In verse number 11, it says, "But the officer in charge of the prisoners listened more to the ship's captain and the owner than to Paul." Notice, when they ignored Paul's warning, Paul didn't get in his feelings. I got to stop here. I'm going to have to pick up here next Sunday. When they ignored Paul's warning, he didn't get in his feelings. When they ignored Paul's warning, he didn't get in his feelings. And there's a word here for you. This is the last word. I'm noting here where we're going to start next Sunday. I've got to do a part 2 to this. It should only be 2 parts, but this is good. I didn't want to rush through this. Listen, Paul didn't get in his feelings. And there's a revelation to this, y'all. When people don't acknowledge who you are, they don't acknowledge your purpose. They don't recognize the plan of God that's on your life, the purpose that's on your life. Don't get in your feelings. Keep doing your purpose. Y'all, don't let people's applause, lack of support, lack of recognition, lack of whatever cause you to question what you know you've been called to do. Stay focused on your purpose. Stay focused on your purpose. You got to be so locked in on what God called you to do that you're not paying attention to nothing else. Because I'm here to tell you, if you lock in on your purpose, regardless of people seeing your purpose, eventually the applause, the recognition, it's going to catch up with you. Y'all, all I can say is that I'm a living witness. Do you know how many times, when the pandemic happened 3 years ago, do you know how many times in the last 3 years, 3.5 years, do you know how many opportunities I've had to question my purpose? Do you know how many opportunities I've had to even wonder if God was with me? And listen to me. In spite of all of that, the last thing I paid attention to was the response of people. People come and go. The last thing I paid attention to was the response of people, and I locked in on what I knew I was called to do. And here's the beautiful part about all of this, and I close with this. The beautiful part about all of this is that when you stick to your purpose, God will send you recognition. Watch. Even if it doesn't come from the place where you are. Even if it doesn't come from the place where you are. You got to remember, Jesus said, listen, a prophet is without honor in his own country, around his own kin. Some of y'all are looking to get applause from people who can't clap for you because they're too close to you. There are simply some people who can't clap because they're too close. So this is what you got to do. Don't be in a hurry to go find a new set of people that'll clap. That's what most people do. Mm-mm. Keep operating in your purpose where you are. And if you operate in your purpose where you are, God will send people that will clap for you. You're too worried about applause. And again, there's some people that can't clap because they're too close. You'll never be great in their eyes because you're their brother. You're their sister. You're their father. You're their mother. They grew up with you. You'll never be great in their eyes because they're too close. Remember what I said about clarity? They're like this. You just keep doing your purpose. You take a step back if you have to. Evaluate situations for what they are. And I'm telling you, I'm a living witness that God will send people who recognize your purpose and honor it. Y'all, I'm out of time. I'm out of time. I wish I could go longer today. Oh, busy morning. I wish I could go longer. Listen to me. This is a word today. I'm going to give you part 2 next Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm going to give you part 2. I want you to go back, add to Romans 12, your reading for the week. I want you to go back and add Acts chapter number 27. Go back and add it. This is a powerful message because it is a reminder that we don't live by signs, but we also can't ignore. Just because you don't live by a sign doesn't mean you fully ignore signs. Signs have purpose too. Signs have purpose too. We're going to pick up with this next Sunday. Listen, you got a prayer request. I want you to enter it in the chat area really quickly. I want to pray with you today really quickly. I want you to know I'm praying for you this week. Going to be up 4:08 in the morning, up praying over your prayer requests. So whatever it is that you have going on in your life, challenges that you have going on in your life, I want you to know that I am praying for you and rooting for you, that God would certainly answer prayers concerning your life and situation. Listen, type your prayer requests in the comments, or you can email your prayer requests to info@rehabcc.org and put in the subject line prayer request. And that request will come to me, and we will certainly respond to those requests and let you know that we are praying for you. Connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. Let's touch and agree. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you today for this word. Thank you for this time of gathering and sharing you've given us. It's my prayer that something was said or done that has encouraged, empowered, impacted someone in a tremendous way. It's my prayer, God, that you would give us all the strength to recognize signs, but not be driven by them, to understand their value and their appropriateness at any given time, so that we are more led by you than anything else. Help us, God, to be aware of not only just ourselves, but our surroundings, and to never allow our surroundings to impact our purpose, to impact the direction and the plight that you've given to us. God, I lift to you now every prayer request of your people, the requests that are on the hearts and minds of your people that might even be too hard and too rough that they can't even type them this morning. We lift them up to you, God, and we ask that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can. God, let this be a week that is filled with miracles, that's filled with open doors, made ways, met needs, granted wants, promises, and expectations as only you can. God, I literally need you to open up the windows of heaven, pour out blessings and miracles upon your people this week like they've never seen before. And we make you this promise, God, that as you answer these prayers, as you make ways for us, as you meet needs for us, we will not take the credit. We promise to give your name all of the glory and the honor that belongs to you, because we know that every good and perfect gift doesn't come from us, but it comes from above. We count these things done, and we believe you for them in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, you type in the comments quickly. It is so. It is so. It is so. It is so. God is answering prayers. He's making ways. He's opening doors. He's meeting needs. He's granting heart's desires today. And I need you to be excited about that. It is so. It is so. I'm so excited that you have tuned in today. And listen, I would not dare, I don't care how much of a hurry I'm in, I would not dare get off this broadcast without giving someone the opportunity to dedicate their life to Christ. If you want to be saved today, I don't care where you are, what you're doing. I want you to stop what you're doing right now. I need 60 seconds of your attention, because God wants to save you. Romans 10:9 tells us, in essence, that if we confess with our mouths, believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation has nothing to do with you being perfect. It has everything to do with you being in right standing with God. And God wants to save you today. So if you want to be saved, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. I want you to repeat this prayer of faith with me, and God's going to save you right where you are. Listen, say this with me. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have flaws and failures. But I do believe Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. Yet 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed this prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You've made an incredible decision, and I'm so grateful to God for you making that decision today to dedicate your life to Christ. Now, I need you to find you a church home somewhere. It might be here virtually where you tune into us. It might be some physical location. I only have one ask. I want it to be a Bible teaching, Bible believing ministry that believes in empowering the hearts and the minds and the spirits of people in a way that they can understand it. Find you that ministry. Go be a part of that ministry and continue to grow in your faith, because God absolutely wants that for you. He doesn't want you to just be successful in business. He doesn't want you to just be successful in your marriage. He wants you to be successful in your faith. And go find that ministry and continue to grow in your faith. And we know God is going to bless you for that. All right. Listen, y'all, don't forget, there is no Life Study Tuesday. Romans 12 is your scripture for the week. Join me on Instagram Thursday morning, 6:45 a.m. I have so many dates running through my head right now. Thursday morning, 6:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram. And for an explanation of Romans chapter 12, we've been reading that for the last 3 weeks. Now, this will be the third week. And we will have explanation Thursday, and then meet us back here for part 2 of Stay on the Boat. Man, today was powerful. We're going to close it up next week. And just again, so grateful that you tuned in. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm praying for you. Ain't nothing you can do about it to make me do otherwise and feel otherwise. But I want you to have a tremendous week this week. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Be safe Tuesday with whatever your plans are for your children. Just be safe. And we can't wait to see you on Thursday. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Have a tremendous, tremendous week. And again, we will see you on Thursday. Peace and blessings now.